Incremental greetings. Let's continue the Supermemo Course, the Pleasurable expansion about the learning flow. Now that we know the outstanding queue, we have introduced it. Now it's time to learn the sorting criteria that will sort the outstanding repetitions according to some criteria. Then Fowl covers this in a very chaotic manner in 4 different stages in this video. So I have done my homework, so I will be jumping back and forth. Let's start.
It just means that how your
If you remember the same menu, the main menu, then the learn submenu, you have the stages, and just the next option is sorting.
on learn and sorting. Sorting just means that
First, you have a choice to auto sort. Yes, for some reason you could not auto sort if you didn't want to. I don't see why. Perhaps in the past that was a thing. Any meaningful use case for this purpose. But just to let you know that you can disable that. Then you have the sorting criteria that we will cover, and then the sort now is in case you have modified the criteria, you can reset it. That sort again according to the criteria, the current criteria. So I don't need to wait until the next day cutoff.
and sorting. Sorting just means that how your queue gets sorted. So we were on view, we go on outstanding, and we see that we have this order right now, right?
No. His collection is tiny, and then outstanding only collapses 2 days. So even with that, with this dummy collection, he has outstanding elements from today and from yesterday. His yesterday, more than 4 years ago.
This is the order in which stuff is going to be presented to us. So if now I click, see, this is the web course element that it's empty. Now I'm going to go here, and if I go on learn, it will present me the first item of our outstanding queue, which is the empty one from.
First element, not necessarily an item.
If you want to see these
Unless you have some sorting criteria that will force this case. We will see this in a while.
item into your knowledge tree, just go Alt C. Okay. After this, we're gonna see how to actually manipulate our outstanding queue. Again, I'm gonna show you another time just to be sure. 3 items and our topics. Okay. So let's say we want to change that. We go on sorting criteria. Okay. So.
And look at the title. It's repetition sorting criteria. And you have this graph, more or less, to have like a general idea. But there are only 2 metrics here. One is the proportion of topics versus items. And you may ask, what about tasks? And what about concepts, if you have undismissed concepts? They are in the topics. So when Supermemo, in most places in the user interface, says topics, it means non-item elements. Passive review versus items that is active recall. So is the element type, the ratio of element types, and the other is how much you want to follow the prioritization, the priority. And you can add more randomness. Let's get going.
So, proportion of topics, which is one of the most important things. So Wozniak recommends to have like 1 to 5, 1 topic each.
1 to 4, 1 to 5, but it's just at the beginning. Then depends on you, but more importantly, it depends on the time of the day, the time of the session. That doesn't mean, let's say that I choose 1 to 5, like Fowl says. That doesn't mean that during the entire day I have this criteria. Let's say this is true at the beginning, then in the evening I'm more tired, I want something easier, so I want more items than topics. I can change anytime the criteria and click on sort now, and this will resort. Or let's say today, I don't know, it's something hard, I don't see any progress, I'm not in the mood. You know what? I will just want more randomization, but only for topics. I want to keep the outstanding for items, for what is high priority. And I do this with the hope of serendipity. If I rediscover something in my collection that has been neglected. And then, next day, I can go back to the prior settings I had and resort anytime. You can change the criteria as many times as you want. It's not limited to one day or one session. So it depends on your goal. Sometimes you can achieve the same result with a subset, so you don't need to do the sorting criteria.
Every 5 or 7 items, which would be the best. Otherwise, you will spend more time doing the reading than the repetition. Just so to be clear, you have.
Yeah, and you will see this with trial and error. Oh, my sweet spot is 1 to 3. Oh yeah, but then this leads to many items left outstanding because I create more items because I do the topic reviews. And this grows too fast. So then what you can do is decrease the ratio based on that.
Have to spend more time ideally on the active recall than the passive. Obviously, if you're just starting to study, it's normal to read a lot. Otherwise, I really recommend to be careful.
Exactly. So at the beginning, you'll very quickly run out of items because at the first day, you won't create items. Then just one. Keep in mind, this will need to show up again. You'll make an extract. Perhaps then next day, you'll see the extract. You will do the closation. And until now, you haven't done any flashcard, any item. So you will need some days or even weeks to have at least some items. You will need some months. I don't know, depends on your flow and how much time you invest with Supermemo. But eventually, it will happen the other way around. That you won't ever finish your items either. That's why priorities are meaningful.
Careful around these settings. So we had first items, then topics. If I do this, okay, this is the maximum, this is the minimum, okay? So I'm doing sort now, and here you should see, wait a second, didn't change the sorting criteria. I never remember which way is it.
Yeah, it actually worked. He's confused, but it worked. Before he had the items first, then the topics. So what happened now, it's the exact opposite. Because the sorting criteria is please do all topics, Supermemo will order this topics only until there are no more outstanding topics, and then it will show you the items. And in this case, precisely the last one is a task after all of the topics. Usually, people would like to do the opposite. Is let me go through all of the items first, and if I finish, when I finish the last item, then I will see the topics. But you will reduce what's called the interleaving practice. There's no right and wrong, or at some degree, there's more efficient, less efficient. But at the end of the day, is what works for you, what you like, what is pleasurable for you. Because something that perhaps is not that efficient, but if it's pleasurable, it's better than if you don't do it, to begin with.
Okay, sorry. Okay.
Now, I think he rambles quite a lot, so I will skip that, and I will show you my collection. So what's my sorting criteria here? It's this. Do you see that its proportion of topics is extremely low? That means that I will have almost everything items, and here and there, some topics. I think there are about 200 places, or about 100. And for whatever reason, it doesn't tell you the number. So if you really want 50%, you have to estimate that, or count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, until the place you want. Yeah, user experience at Supermemo is kind of crap. Nice. Then if I do 50-50 and I sort, in my case takes a while because I have more outstanding elements. And I go to the top, do you see? It's most of the time one of each, one item, one topic, one item, one topic, one item, one task. Because remember, topics, tasks, and concepts share the non-item property. So when Supermemo says topics, is included the concepts and tasks as well. Nice. And then it's following, look at that. Why I have these outliers of priority? Because of my sorting criteria. We covered until now the ratio, but look at the prioritized. So I want for items to very religiously follow the prioritization. Look at the graph, bam bam, and topics will be opposite. Look at the graph, it's horizontal. Nice. That is an extreme case, so it's more obvious to see. Then, view, outstanding. Then look at that. It's, oh, that doesn't look high priority. Look, where am I? I need to scroll up. Then for items, it's always super high priority. You will see it in red. Pam, 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 pam. That doesn't mean that topics can be high priority as well, which is the case. For instance, this one, status in business, or this 1.1, or here you go, loading agendas. But you will see that when it's a topic, it's crazy. 70, 30, 40, 14, 40 again, 8, 12, 1. It's random, but only for topics. I may want to increase this by serendipity. That will be the maximum. And you can do this anytime, and very precisely, because you can have just a small increment. That's why you have this visualization. You can have sorting criteria or only items and topics. And one final thing is that, as how we will see later in the course, you can do subsets. Let's say that I only want business in this case, because I do an MBA about that, is I don't want to wait, or I have more in my collection, but I don't have the time for it. So the limited time I have, let's say 10 minutes, I want to focus on what I need the most. So let's say it's this case. Then it's sort of like that. Is what I can do is the following. Control S or sort for review. That will be using my sorting criteria. How cool is that? And you will say, hey, there are dates that are not outstanding. Yes, that's the difference between, if you click here, you'll review all of the material. You don't want that. You want to click on Learn instead. Control L versus Control Shift L. Even if they are there, if it's not outstanding, it will be ignored. Regardless of that, you can also go to Child and only do outstanding. So everything that is not outstanding is filtered out. And remember, it's not fixed. It's non-deterministic. My sorting criteria has some fuzziness, some randomness. That means that if I sort again, I will have a similar but not the exact same result. Do you see? Benefit of cutting hair is here, but not the next one. Why? Because for items, I have explicitly follow the priority. But for topics, it's very high. There's a lot of randomness. So it's very likely that each time I try, I get different results for items. Cool. So that's all you need to know about the sorting criteria for the outstanding queue. See you in the next video.